Alright, we are back. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you guys are already. There's so much information about execution out there. You guys should kind of understand where I'm coming from in perfecting your execution game, because that's going to make or break what how make or break your performance in a tournament. Okay? Now, how to use these things is a whole different world. It's a completely new world of how to use it, because when you ever first play Street Fighter, what did you want to do? All you wanted to do was perform your special moves. That's it, right? And like, oh wow, I got the fireball to come out. Well, back then in the age of discovery, there was no move list. So if anybody figured out any special move, you were the popular kid on the block. It is what it is. So what happens when everybody can do the special moves now? Everybody has good execution. Everybody can do them. When do you use these things? Can I just throw them anytime and like, oh, hopefully it hits? There's strategy behind everything. Like the approach and everything. And this segment, it's gonna be one of my favorite segments for a while, because now, and you guys are wondering, why do I always pick Ryu in this? And it's the easiest to learn when I'm explaining it for you, because everything else it's a little bit more complicated. Okay. So when I set the dummy to throw a fireball in the beginning of the round, all right, with Ryu, that's a really, really good strategy, because you're thinking, unless they're ready, they're gonna jump over my fireball and gonna combo me, right? Or I'm gonna get chipped, and getting that. If you draw blood, the first person to draw blood in traditional Street Fighter, you're most likely gonna win the round. Well, in the old school games, because it's really, really hard to do anything to the other guy defending. It's hard because you're playing somebody with optimal footsies, and they can counter your jump in at any time, because now you're looking to gain that damage back, right? And then there's the option of not throwing a fireball, just to see what the opponent's going to do. Okay? And maybe you can force them to throw a fireball a little bit later, so you kind of like back up and you jump over it and you do your combo. How many seconds is that when it starts? Okay? Is he going to throw a fireball? Yeah, no, he's not. And he's just dancing around. Okay? So the first, I would say, 5 seconds of the round is really, really important, because see this red line that I'm standing on? You're trying to go to their side. That's the name of the game. Go to their side if you want to play offensive. Okay? But you have to think of these variables when you're playing like a Guile, a Ryu, or even Fei Long. When he starts, he can start with a jab rekka. You can walk up, jab rekka in your face. It is what it is, right? And he's going to get safe chip on you. And then he's going to apply more pressure. So it's really important what you strategize in the beginning of the round. You're going to have to think about, okay, I'm going to start with a fireball, I'm going to get chipped, and then I have to think that he wants that damage back, or he's going to be patient. Which route am I going to go? Am I going to throw another fireball, or right, to make him block even more, get him a little bit? I'm trying to think of both minds here. Like the attacker, I'm throwing 2 fireballs, so I want to dish out more damage, and the defender is thinking like, hey, okay, I let this guy chip me a couple times. The third time, no, I'm just gonna jump straight up, or I'm gonna focus it and whatnot. So you're thinking in both heads right now. In Street Fighter, you don't have that much time. you have to go with your instincts more so than what you written down on paper or what's already in your head. Because you got to think about too many variables that can happen, and especially in Street Fighter 4, there's a lot more ways to get in on your opponent than old school Street Fighter. The old school Street Fighter, uh, I guess you can call it kind of linear. You know, there's a direct way, and it's pretty much just a direct way to get in. You jump in, or a superior footsies a sweep, right? But in Street Fighter 4, you have to worry about EXs. You have to worry about, you know, focus attacks, and then of course you got to worry about, you know, ultras. You have to worry about all these things. Okay, so, but that's not gonna happen yet. That's not gonna happen yet because nobody has super in the beginning round. Nobody has ultra in the beginning round. But you know it's coming. You absolutely know it's coming. So, just be easier explanation right here. I'm gonna change character. Something that is that, and yeah. This match is annoying as hell for Ryu. Why? Well, yeah, I can start the match with Fireball if he has no meter. All right, let's set that to. Oh, all right. Right? Okay. Ryu is very, very strong when at this point of the game because he doesn't have to worry about anybody's EXs to bust through his projectile, right? It is what it is. Like you control the pace of the match here. Yeah, you can get focused. Yeah, somebody can jump over your fireballs. Yeah, somebody can do like the Blanca's sliding sweep under it, right? You have to think about once they get meter, then you know you can't throw as many fireballs anymore. So how are you going to defend versus this craziness? Okay, say Blanca. Oops. Now he has meter, right? And he's going to do that, okay? Where can I throw the fireball knowing that he has meter where it's safe? I'm not looking at the ultra yet because the ultra can mess me up even worse. So I have to think about where to throw it. A lot of people don't think about, hey, what are my dangers now when I finally have the upper hand, but now they have meter and it prevents me. It just completely shuts down my game. Well, you're gonna have to deal with it. I still play a lot of players that they play so awesome in the beginning of the round, but as soon as the other character gets meter, then they play like trash. Why? Why is that? Why do they play like crap? It's because they can't stand their initial strategy being beat down. Okay? So you're going to have to think deeper. And in regards to this match, it's like when I played Riceta from Canada, he has one of the best Blancas I've ever played because he's very patient and he knows that as soon as he gets 1 bar, 1 meter, he controls the match. Because my fireball game is neutered. Now I have to depend on my normals, which my normals don't outrange Blanca. Okay, so I have to do. Let's see. Here we go. Oops. Try again. So I have to do this, right? I shouldn't actually have it when he's jumping around. Let's try it again. See, it won't even let me do the ball. Alright. To worry about this move, right? Bad, right? Nope, that move doesn't hit it. That move, see, I'm crouching strong. So I have to walk around with this move and hope it hits. But of course, you know, they're gonna time the EX ball or even the regular. Actually, a better explanation would be the regular ball. Right, I'm trying to play footsies with this thing. So now, like, he has a 1 meter, but he can pester me with this as soon as I get closer. But, I mean, if he does that ball, he can dash. Should be able to dash and punish it. See, I can dash and punish it, but what I'm trying to explain here is that you have an initial strategy, which is, okay, I get the chip lead, but now my opponent has something that can overcome my projectile game, like what to do next. Okay, you're gonna have to find specific moves that can hit them out of their specials. Like Blanca, I have a crouching jab, I have a crouching medium punch, right? So this makes Blanca players hesitate, which I want. I need them to hesitate because it allows me to walk forward. You know, that's a strategy on top of a strategy, because normally if you see just regular Ryu Blanca matches, right, you'll see Blanca's just dance all over Ryu as soon as Blanca has meter, because you have to worry about the EX. And what can Ryu jump in on Blanca? Nope. You're gonna get EX airballed or regular airballed out of the sky, you know, or you're gonna get neutral jump fierce, or you're gonna get just all of Blanca's normal defense, you know, versus Ryu. So the only other thing you can do is walk with a normal move that can poke the Blanca ball out. So for instance, I got hit there. Let's try again. And then make him land on a fireball, right? Because now that kind of brings me back to where, like, hey, this is kind of like the initial, you know, start of the round. I got chip lead, but now I found a move where I can hit him out of his special, and I make him land on my fireball, which is kind of the same thing. Awesome, right? And now you've hit the opponent a couple times with this, so they're thinking, all right, crap, I gotta switch it up. You know, I gotta switch up my you know, spamming the Blanca balls to something else, because, you know, he's kind of figured me out. All right, well, how about if I do like max distance slide, right, while he's trying to walk. Now it's kind of hard to block too, because now you're kind of looking for the Blanca ball, right? But what if he does that while you're trying to poke? He wins that game. So, but he's only gonna do this at max distance where it's relatively safe. That's not max distance, but I mean you can see what I'm talking about. So these are strategies amongst, like, hey, you have something in the beginning of the round that annoys me, but wait until I get a meter, and then what you can't do that anymore. Okay, so Um, the next thing is like, okay, cool. I'm gonna switch up. Now you can't throw fireballs at me because I have meter. I'm gonna Blanca ball EX Blanca ball through those. So you're gonna give me an opportunity to tie the damage that you've inflicted on me. And I'm thinking, damn, okay, crap. I can't be I can't be worried about that, and I can't kind of stop my initial strategy. I need something in as soon as he gets meter. I need to switch it up a little bit. So I'm gonna do the crouching strong gang into or crouching jab and into a fireball and make him land on it, which gives me more opportunity, so I can dish out more damage. Blanca player thinks, okay, he knows that too. I'm going to switch up doing Blanca balls with the low slide, and that's going to kind of make Ryu hesitate more. And the more meter Blanca gets, the more of a threat he is, because then, in case his EX Blanca ball is blocked, he has another one, in store. So these are the things that you have to think about when you start the match. You have to think about a counter to a counter to a counter continuously. Okay? Counter to a counter to a counter. And not every matchup has this, because there are some matchups where you're just a sitting duck and there's only a limited amount of things you can do. But sorry to say, you made that decision playing that character. I mean, if you want to play this game competitively, you're going to have to find a strategy to beat something that is, only making you do one thing over and over. Like if say, let me give you an example. Say if you picked Zangief, you're a Zangief player, and I play Ryu, but what if I just got sick and tired of that match, because that match is like, as you guys can see, Snake Eyes is really good, and we go back and forth, but I don't like that anymore. Maybe I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna play Sagat. I'm gonna just because I have stronger strategies with Sagat. Well, if that works out for you, go for it. But the last thing you should think about is, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with my character, and I'm gonna be limited of my options because this guy counterpicks me, and I don't know, I'm a sitting duck. It's not the worst thing in the world to pick a counter character, as long as you can efficiently pick a strategy against something that you normally can't beat. That's what it is. It's not. I mean, we've done it back in the days. Street Fighter 2 World Warrior. The only two characters in that game was Dalsum and Guile. And what do you do in the beginning of each tournament match? You flip a coin to see who picks first. And the person that picks first usually picks Guile. And the second person picks, usually Dalsum. But the games got more balanced, and now we do blind pick. However, we do blind pick because we don't want to pick a character first and then let the opponent pick a counter character afterwards, right? That's where the term blind picking came from, because you don't want to give an advantage to your opponent. And there was massive counter picking since day one of Street Fighter. So don't think that the whole character loyalty stuff, and that's fine and dandy, but if you can use another character versus the bad matchups that you have, and you're pretty decent with those strategies, and it works out for you, guess what? You're gonna win the tournament, or you're gonna place higher than you normally do. It's quite all right. And in case of me, I think I've tried some characters that would probably give me a better advantage versus my bad matchups, but what happens to me is I get too complacent with that one particular style, and a lot of people are hungry in this game, and they eventually beat it. So that's why I stick with Ryu, because I have the most knowledge in every matchup with Ryu, and it's not too bad. Like my worst matchups would be Adon and Dalsum, and probably a really good Blanca too. All other matches I do really well in. Oh, and really good Yun players as well. So I've eliminated how many characters are in the game? Like close to 40 or something. So out of the 40 characters, only 4 or 3 of them, whatever, I have a hard time against. But it's not that bad. That's why I don't, switch to a Sagat. I don't switch to, back to Bison or whatever, because I think I don't find those characters as interesting as Ryu still in this game, because I'm very versatile. And I do have a lot of strategies when it comes to certain styles, and that's the next thing I'm going to go with. So let's pick another character and show you what's good. Alright, so actually something a little bit more relevant, because you guys see this match with me and Online Tony. And like the last episode, I went over with a scenario that if I was playing versus Andy OCR, what he would do, right? Well, in relations to this match really sucks for Ryu. It sucks. And everybody who really understands what Seth is capable of. He's like the best 50-50 character in the game. Alright, he has ridiculous offense and defense, but he has low vitality, so he can't mess up, number one, and he has to have good defense. Like if you're a Seth player, you have to have those two attributes into your game. You mess up, you die. If your defense sucks, you die. But if those two things are covered, you're gonna give everybody a really hard chance. So strategy-wise, what we're thinking about fighting Seth. Okay. Can I throw a fireball in the beginning of the round? Yes, I can, because he has no meter, right? No meter whatsoever. And he, just like any other character, he has to jump in to guess if I'm going to throw a fireball in the beginning of the round. It's kind of like the Blanca or a Ryu mirror match. These are the things I got to think about, right? In the case of Online Tony, he's a random player. I mean, he's safe. Well, it's because not only is because of the character he picks, he has to be random to be successful with this character, because sometimes you just got to go all in. You do. And we go back and forth all the time. So I know this already about Tony, or even if I'm going to generalize Seth players, because I've played many styles of Seth players, I got to categorize what type of Seth player they are. The Online Tony style, which is kind of more random. I played another guy Wednesday Night Fights. He plays a more defensive Seth, which is as equally difficult, because once he gets that meter, I can't throw fireballs anymore, right? And he kind of controls the match. So how else am I going to do damage to this character? And if I eliminate some of his tools that he can spam out, like say for instance, like that move, right? Of course, yes, I can hit him from far away. And then combo. But I would do, actually, the best thing I can do versus this move is sweep to get in, because that's the strategy. You want to get in on Seth, right? You want to get in on Seth. That's how you're going to dish out your strategy. So you're going to have to open your mind to every different type of player that there is with what character they're picking. Whether it's Seth, Blanca, Akuma, Guile, Fei Long, Yun. You're going to have to find data where if you don't have, let's just say if you don't have the local experience with these players, all right, then you're going to really have to look it up on YouTube. You're going to have to look it up at forums to see who are the notable top players with these characters, right? And try to find like 5 of them or something, okay? Because they all don't play the same, or hopefully they don't. So, and you kind of generalize, all right, my character, does my character do well versus so and so and so? Let's just say Rue versus Guile or whatever, right? Like say Dominion, and if you're dissecting Dominion's game or dissecting another Guile player's game, and like a Guile from Japan or something, does your character or does your strategy do well versus a Dominion style? Does your strategy do well versus the guy in Japan, the guy in, you know, Florida, Texas, California, whatever, those guys? And do process of elimination. All right, try to play out that match with that strategy versus those styles. It's a lot of research involved when it comes to strategy. So, okay, yes, Alex, I got my strategy down for 5 possible styles of one character. That's awesome. You've done your research, you know, like so that means you have one round to collect this data that you know, like to identify this data with what you know. So in the cases like Seth right here, does this Seth play like Online Tony? Does he have the same habits? And how am I going to figure that out? Well, does he jump over the fireball in the beginning of the round? Or does he do standing fierce in the beginning of the round to counter my fireball? Or, you know, what does he do that is similar to Tony? Well, he does standing fierce, or he jumps over my fireball in the beginning of the round, and then he will set up the hard to blockable roundhouse or the dive kick, which that's typical Seth stuff. But you need to know and familiarize yourself with these styles and know the proper defense for them. And that's part of strategy too, because strategy also involves yourself of getting hit, and when you're getting knocked down, and if this is how you're going to be approaching, if your approach versus these styles is going to be effective enough to win. So things go my way versus the Seth matchup. He throws a Sonic Boom, whatever. Oh, messed that up. No block. So he throws a Sonic Boom in the beginning round. I don't know why, but he does, and I feel like gutsy. And I think he tech rolls right here. He has no meter. Okay. What am I gonna do? Is he? If I cross him up, or I'm gonna assume he's just gonna block my cross up. He's really good at blocking. That's his. You know, Seth, you have to be good at defense. If I do that, I risk getting him out of the corner. I do. So, what if this Seth is not an Online Tony player? What if his defense is a little weaker, all right? And I do hit him with a cross up, and I'll continue it. So he's getting up, whatever, right? Okay, I can just maximize my damage, but I know it's not going to be a super or whatever, but look at that. He doesn't play like Online Tony. He's just, his defense is weaker. I just maximized my damage by trying all this stuff. I collected the data that this guy's defense is pretty whack. Okay? And, but now, since I have a lot of the lead, I can try to close it off, or I can make him kill himself and try to see. I try to get a little bit more data from him. You know, I want to see his defensive maneuvers. Is he a teleport guy? Is he a backdasher? Is he a like, oh, I gotta wake up, mash uppercut? I need to see this, because this will let me know in a crucial moment of round 2 or round 3 that he will do the same defensive strategy. And you got to remember this in round one. You have to remember this. That's going to win you rounds. And that's how you collect data on the first round. You got to see what style of play they are with this character. If you can identify if they play like 5 different people, pick one, or maybe a mesh of some. So that gives you some kind of an advantage. All right. So this guy wakes up. He does teleport, right? But now I'm watching this because, all right, he's scared. He's a teleport kind of guy. All I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do anything more fancy. I'm just gonna try to walk him to the corner now because he saw that I jumped in, right? I already got in his head in the beginning of the round that I like to jump, so he's thinking I'm gonna jump again. Newsflash, I'm not gonna jump again because that's completely obvious, right? But I'm just gonna get myself in a position to where it looks like I'm gonna jump again. I paint that picture in your head. It looks like I am gonna jump again, but I'm really not. I'm just kind of positioning myself in a neutral space, like in a zone area, to see what else you're gonna do. Because now you have meter, right? You have meter. I can't throw too many fireballs, and if I jump in, you'll do EX uppercut into tandem, suck me in, get more damage, and then I'm on the ground, and you're gonna do your stupid 50-50 mix-up on me, or hard to blockable or whatever. So yeah, jumping would be the worst thing for me to do next. So I would have to focus on my footsie game to do the rest of the damage. So see, that's what I analyze from these matches that I have to prepare myself for. It is what it is, but you're gonna have to strategize every single knockdown or how you're gonna get the extra damage. You have to kind of like talk to yourself. Is this guy gonna throw another fireball, or is, you don't have that much time, and you can't think too much because you gotta act it out you gotta act it out. The time is running out. Their hands are shaky. No matter how brilliant of a player you are, you still got to perform all this stuff. And when the pressure is on, you got to perform this stuff. And I can tell you exactly what to do, but I can't do it for you. Do you understand what that means? And you probably hear that in the workforce when like your boss is getting like kind of angry at you because they've been trying to tell you like forever how to do certain things of your job, but they can't do it for you. They're most likely going to get somebody else down the road. Well, in regards to strategizing for the next tournament, newsflash, man, nobody's going to win a tournament for you. Only you can do it. So let's think a little bit deeper now in the strategy segment. Now this is going to segue into the innovation part, the strategy and innovation, things that how to set someone up in the most crucial moments of the match. It's not with this, not with these characters right here. All right. So say you have Akuma in the corner, or any character in the corner, and what do we practice, for pressure? I don't think anybody really teaches you how to practice pressure once you're like, you've knocked them down and they're forced to block. Like, what kind of setups are you going to do? what kind of setups in your strategy are you going to apply to the opponent when they're getting up. Okay, so I'm going to set the computer to, oops, okay, he's crouch teching, okay, and he's blocking. So I can't hit him, you know, I can't hit him yet. So got him knocked down, and this is in regards to every character in the game. You knock somebody down, what are your options? All right, in the most advanced level that you can possibly think of. So there's 3 options. You can throw. All right, you can throw. You can apply a block string or a frame trap, whatever you want to call it, or you can do nothing. Okay, so these 3 things that you're gonna have to, like, just by muscle memory, you're gonna have to just do it because it's laid out in front of you, and this is gonna make or break how much more damage you can get on a player. So, like, right, I can throw him again. Oh, he teched. See, I waited a little too long for that. He hit me out of my frame trap. See, I tried to do a block string. All right. Oh, he teched that. Computer's hella good. He blocked all of that, right? And I'm not, you know, just doing the timing of when he's pushing the button. I'm just playing my stuff, and right. So you're gonna have to figure out what is the most optimal block string setups, throw timings, or if you just want them to kill themselves, meaning you don't do nothing, let them like do a whiff uppercut, or let them whiff their normal and punish accordingly. Okay, nobody really teaches you these things. You just kind of have to, you kind of do it on your own, you know. Like, I think just when you're playing the game and you're, oh, things are going right, oh, I got the throw right, oh, I'm just gonna land my whatever combo or something. It's a little bit more than that, because now the game is going into 4 years and people know how to block a lot of setups. Okay, so what's going to differentiate the way that you attack somebody while they're getting up? And this is extremely important, because this is the only way that you might get more damage, because if they break free and push you away, then you probably won't get that damage back again. You know, they'll play their game and beat you or whatnot. So my main focus, because I love to rush that shit down, is when I have somebody in the corner, how many different types of attack strings can I do to this guy after I knock them down? And like the 3 options, they're the paper, scissors, rocks. You know, again, you can throw, again, you can do your block string, or you can do nothing. So in this guy's a Kuma, and his options are tech throw, teleport, or uppercut, right? But the game, again, is 4 years old. The game is 4 years old. The guy knows that if he does an uppercut or teleport, he is gonna lose a shit ton of damage for trying to guess that. Okay, so most likely he's just gonna crouch tech. And one important thing to note about crouch teching, you can frame trap it. You know, they're trying to push the button in between your timing in case that you throw. So for instance, so that time you couldn't do it. You know that. There he did there. But I mean, I just set the computer just to tech, right? But humans obviously are different. They're not gonna tech at the same, like, you know, interval. Oh, this is, you know, here comes the throw or whatever. So by innovating a new type of block string that they haven't seen, then most likely you're gonna land a throw, or you're going to hit them out of their crouch tech attempt. So let's just say some typical block strings. low short, crouching jab, low short, right? And then you hesitate into, so, hesitate low forward fireball, because that way, that timing is kind of like, hey, I can Kara throw you, or I can low forward fireball you. So those are my two options to get more damage in case you're crouch teching. So let's see if that works. Nope. See, I did it too soon there, right? So those little things. So can they escape those little intricate things that you're gonna do? Those little block streams, those little frame traps. You're gonna have to do as many as you can figure out. However they look, it doesn't matter as long as you effectively can open up your opponent in the corner. So let's see. I still can't open this guy up. So look at that. He's smart. See, I delayed it a little bit longer. So if you can kind of let's say you walk up to him after like this, you kind of, and you wait it out, and you see that when you walk close and you walk back, they did push a button, and you didn't do any setups yet. That was like your first knockdown in a corner. You just kind of wanted to collect some data to see what type of attack they use on wake up. That's valuable information. So you can tell that, like this character, this example, he likes to crouch tech with crouching short, which it's extremely difficult to punish compared to if he was crouch teching with crouching medium punch, because that's a slower move, easier to punish. So knowing this information, I don't have to worry about eating a crouching strong into a fireball or whatever versus his defense. Okay, so and another thing to note, do I know the counter to this? Like, can I hit him in between? Do I know the? Can I hit him in between that? Yeah, there we go. See, that's something that I have to practice for, like how to punish him for whiffing that move. Or try to even walk into it and Kara throw him. Alright? Like, those little intricate things that when you watch me play, sometimes I do nothing and I just let the guy push certain buttons in front of me. I'm collecting your data. And sometimes you don't do anything and you let me just run over you, but those are things that I plan for in round 2 and, if necessary, round 3. It's really important for you to remember everything in regards to your opponent's defense. Okay? So what are my other options for this? Can I overhead him because the crouching short doesn't come out in time for a defensive counter? Yeah, well, there he does. He countered it with crouching short. So that means I have to do that sequence fast. Still slow. He's countering it every time, which tells me that might not be the best option. But I mean, like, the risk reward there too. Like, ooh, who cares? He hit me with a crouching short. I mean, he resets the momentum, but he's still in the corner. So I don't have to worry about that much. But what I'm just trying to say is, if you were to, like, crouch tech was strong, that's all crouch techs. Now that's more damage, right, that I have to worry about. Now that's more of a problem because he can do two crouching strongs into, like, EX Gohado, which is this EX Fireball, whatever. But now if he does this move, it should be easier to punish with a crouching medium kick. Right? And it should be easier to frame trap him if he does that move. Way easier than if you were to do a crouching short. So I have to play with the ranges to see what do I want to punish him with that he hasn't seen before. Like, oh damn, he can blow up my crouch tech just by whiffing it. Well, obviously you can, but you got to be really on point with it. I mean, I don't think a lot of people switch their crouch tech strategy. Like, some of them will only use crouching short as their crouch tech. But Shoto players now, because of Rufus, because that was like one of the first things to learn. Because of Rufus, like I started to use crouching strong crouch tech because he can constantly dive kick over and over. If I did crouching short as a crouch tech, I would get killed. He would do another dive kick and that's it. But if I do crouching strong, it works out. But crouching strong is still a pretty solid crouch tech overall, even if somebody is near me. It really is. Look how fast he got up with that move after a throw. So I have to like throw him immediately in order to blow that up if he's not teching in time. So it's still fairly decent. But the point that I'm trying to make out here is that when you're collecting data, find out how they're crouch teching when you knock them down. You know, at least that's one of the things I do. And with this information, like you can even back up, let him whiff the move, like let him be committed to the move and like jump over him again. Because a lot of people see that I jump a lot, but a lot of the jumps that I'm doing are calculated. They're calculated risks, meaning that the only reason I'm jumping now is because I think that you're going to press a certain button at this exact same time, right? So that could be more of the mid-range game when we're actually playing footsies. There we go. So we're playing footsies. Right. So if I know that you're gonna push like I don't even know what sequence. I'm like closing my eyes. I don't even know what sequence he's doing. I'm not, right? But they're dancing around, you know. We're not gonna play firework games in this example. But if I get him, if I like can see any type of pattern, and sometimes some people open themselves up by like walking back and doing like 2 low moves just to kind of keep you at bay, to keep you honest, right? I'm going to take that in consideration. Maybe are you baiting me knowing that you're going to stop pushing that button? Or if you're walking back or you're moving around like this with those buttons, this is your actual defensive maneuver. I hope you better not have a pattern to do this. If you have a pattern with this, you're going to get blown up. You know, Ricky, Justin, Chris G, those guys are really good at beating up patterns. they are. Most top players are, but I mean, they will maximize their damage output versus you fooling around with the same button over and over. So you got to be really smart about how you strategize your defense in the mid-range game, okay? And in the case for Shotos, the beauty of Shotos is that you have a fireball with whatever button you want to push out in the open. So I played XSK Samurai last week. We just had some random sessions, and what I noticed that he got really good at sweeping a whiff crouching medium kick. And I would think, okay, the first time did he, good shit. He sweeped me whiffing this move. The second time I'm like, okay, can he actually see it, or do I actually have a pattern when I'm busting out my crouching medium kick versus him, right? So that kind of got into my head a little bit. Should I respect the fact that he can really sweep my crouching medium kicks on reaction every time, or do I have a pattern? So to test that out, of course, I'd have to throw like a fireball in between that game, but smart player as he is, he should know that I am gonna sooner or later throw a fireball, right? So if he sees me repositioning myself away, or when I take a big step forward and do a crouching medium kick and then stop and then try to throw a fireball, I think that gives him the cue to jump or to focus me ahead of time to get ready for that scenario. I hope that made sense, but like that's high level strategy right there, because you're preemptively noting yourself. If you're a pattern based player, and some people don't think that they are, but they're pushing a lot of buttons just to try to get the next hit, that you're giving the opponent data. You are. And how you innovate to make it look like, for instance, for me, I'll give away a big secret. I purposely do a certain pattern so you can record it for round 1. Round 2, I sort of do the same pattern purposely when you have meter, because I know the direct counter for, like, say for instance, XXA Samurai, right? He can sweep my crouching medium kicks like on a dime. So I can see that he's looking for that move now, and I'll let him sweep me a couple times until like he gets meter and he knows now that he can crouching medium kick super me on whiff. So I got to be wary about that. But what he's not really thinking about now is like fireball game. So when he has meter, he's probably fixated into just punishing my normal moves, because that's what he saw at round 1 or round 2. But round 3, now I'm just like in his face, not caring I'm throwing fireball. It puts me in a big risk. And believe it or not, I kind of got his head out of my crouching medium kick. Of him sweeping my crouching medium kick, because now he wants to. Now I got him looking at my fireball. Now he wants to super the fireball, and I can't throw too many fireballs, because obviously if I throw fireball number 2 or number 3, he's gonna super that, but it buys me enough time to walk up and crouching forward him again. So trying to take the mind off of of your so-called pattern play is a really good strategy. A lot of people aren't really thinking about that, but and I will bring up like an older like Wednesday night fights recap of where I've done this to people. Like I'll go over plays where, like, hey, look, this is the button he likes to use on wake up, and this is what I did to him because he wouldn't stop doing it. And by the time he stopped doing it, it gave me more room to throw more, cross up more, just keep keep him pinned in the corner. Okay. So, hope these little things kind of click with you, and you're gonna have to kind of watch the segment again, because everybody does have some kind of pattern or some kind of button they like to use to draw first blood. Whether it's fireball usage, crouching medium punch, a dash punch, a sonic boom, or whatever the case may be, these are the moves that you collect data from. Then either you make them stop doing it, or you find a way to counter it just enough so where they can hesitate the next time they're going to use it. The more you make the opponent hesitate, the more you have an opportunity to get that damage back. So you can start throwing your fireball game again, or you can start sweeping. You can walk in more, but if you're having difficulties approaching a player with, these moves that they like, you have to go to training mode. You're gonna have to go to training mode, and like what I'm doing here, you're gonna have to know the perfect counter. And if there is no perfect counter, you're gonna have to figure out the perfect position against it. Meaning where they're forced to end their attack string with a special, right? Or you kind of make them jump because they think their attack string is a little too repetitive. Now is the time to jump, and you've been patient enough to notice that, and you uppercut. So there's so much more to explain with execution, of course, with strategy, with innovation, but this is more of like generalizing on the approach of how your opponent thinks. You play a guy like Dominion, he's going to throw a Sonic Boom, and you're going to lose 50% to try to hit him once. You're going to jump. You're going to try to focus in the worst times. He's going to back fist you. So it's brutal. It's rough. You're going to play against Justin where, his Rufus, he gets one, he's really good at sweeping with Rufus, right? He hits you with that sweep, then he does freaking the barrage of dive kicks on you. Same with Ricky. He's really good with sweeps, and then here comes the dive kicks. What are you going to do defensively to... If you're a Shoto player, you're going to do the crouch tech with crouching strong, right? But knowing Ricky or Justin, they know that, and instead of doing a double dive kick after the knockdown, they're going to do one dive kick and then a delayed dive kick to beat crouching strong because they know the perfect counter to this. They know it. So since I know that they know it, I have to do crouching fierce sometimes because that's the counter to that. Or jump back fierce. Or standing jab. Or mash jab. These are the things that I have to go into the lab to experiment the counter for each counter. So do me a favor. For your next tournament, right? If you're not winning the tournament yet or whatever, right? Get some match footage of the opponents that you were losing to and the players that are in their way as well to place top 3 or first place. Analyze those videos to see what the perfect counter to each of those like mishaps that you would have. Like, oh, this guy's sweeping me for certain range, I don't know how to deal with it. This crouching medium kick, I can't deal with it. There's an answer for just about everything. It's just being smart about it. You got to be a smart player and how to capitalize on each little thing because strategy evolves as the game progresses. People innovate different strategies on the fly, and you're gonna have to deal with that. Like, oh man, this guy was using this move. I start to beat it, then he switched up and started using this move now. What the hell? How am I gonna deal with this? That's Street Fighter. You've entered a world where some of the most, intelligent people in the game can, just out of random pick another move and start beating you with it. And do you have the scenario for that? Do you have the perfect counter? Do you have the perfect strategy for that? Or do you just walk in and hope that you can land a combo? Land your big flashy combo that you're going to get a lot of YouTube hits for, right? But what if you get Mike Watson like I did and not get an opportunity to do so? That's what's going to happen. I think many of you guys are really like I know a lot of you guys like to watch this stuff and think, yeah, the strategy is not as effective and whatever. You're not beating who you're supposed to beat since you have all this experience. The way I play, all right, the way I play is dependent on how you play, because I do play by instinct. If that's why when you watch me play, I don't do the most flashiest things, or I get hit a lot. but count those as me being safe, and uh, I'm collecting a lot of data, because there are crucial times where I flip that round upside down. Like me landing a crouching medium kick, EX Fireball Ultra, like more so than anybody, than any real player out there, and there's a reason to that. So one last thing I want to leave with you guys, and of course I didn't leave this out. I know a lot of you guys have probably been like, hey man, I thought you guys were gonna show a little more about Daigo, and this is, boom, this match right here. So I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna lower the audio. I don't know if it's good or not. I'm gonna mute it just to be safe. All right, round one fight. I hesitate. I didn't throw the fireball in time. He has the damage. Now I have to figure out how am I gonna get this damage back. And see, Daigo jumped in early because he thought, like, man, I'm going to throw another perfect fireball or whatever, right? And I should have uppercutted him, but I didn't. I'm still data collecting. I haven't played him in tournament play with Street Fighter 4 yet. We've had exhibitions, but not this. So, we're both data collecting right now. We're doing a really good job at just keeping the match kind of like sort of even, just in the middle of the field here. We're doing our footsies. Yeah, he's on point. He sees me whiffing the crouching medium kick, but I still gotta test him to see if it's true. All right, like, can he sweep all of my crouching medium kicks? No, he can't. I've whiffed quite a few crouching medium kicks in his face, but it doesn't really matter right now. He's winning. Okay, so I have this big deficit of a disadvantage in health right now, and I have to think of, okay, what can I do? All right, try to throw again. What can I do to get this health back? And right here, Daigo is kind of worried about, like, wow, this guy fought all the way back. This guy might do something crazy or something, maybe another jump in or anything. So I'm just going to still maintain my poise and just wait it out. And I ended up, getting a crucial sweep, walked in, kind of delayed, crouching medium kick fireball, and kind of that threw him off, because I was able to keep my composure this entire time. Now this round, I really just wanted to test his frame trap, if he's just going to keep pushing buttons and I try to uppercut a contest. I needed to send him a message that I'm robust too. I do wake up uppercuts, just to let you know that can come out at any time, and to give me some more breathing room. And now I'm back at round one, right, where I'm at a life disadvantage, a big one now. So I pretty much have to pull something out of my ass. And luckily, like, I still have the patience to withstand some fireball wars here. I have meter, knowing that he has ultra. See, I missed the overhead punch there. I thought it was dead, and the only other option, if he didn't retaliate against that, would be for me to do an EX uppercut. Because if he was in range to crouching medium kick me, but was kind of late, I would have hit his crouching medium kick. If he would have tried to throw a fireball, which he did there, it went through the fireball. And if he did nothing, well, I would have died anyways, right? But I had to make a choice. And there's quite a few things he could have done to finish me off with no health in that situation. So here he's more showing his dominance, and like, okay, I've seen what you did first 2 rounds. I'm sweeping every crouching medium kick you do. Your defense is not that great in the corner. I think you're just trying to Hail Mary me again, which is not going to happen. He destroyed me that round. I just try to I just tried to get at him and push him in the corner, and nothing went my way. I mean, he countered everything I did. Now here I'm showing a little bit more footsie prowess. So I mean, like some dominance in footsies. It kind of tells him like, hey, he can't whiff. He can't whiff that many attacks too. See, I'm still doing crouching medium kicks because, you know what? I'm gonna get more damage too sooner or later. You know, I'm gonna focus your attempts to hit me back. You know, this is Street Fighter, so I can't let like him sweeping me once get to me and not do it again. You know, I continuously have to test him. See, he didn't sweep me there. He just wanted to escape from the corner, which he successfully did, and he only lost a crouching medium punch. And there, what I did was crouching, or sorry, I did focus attack knowing that he was going to stand and back up, which gave me enough time to dash forward, crouching medium kick, EX fireball, ultra. And I pretty much did a proximity block attack pressure there. Now, if you guys don't know what proximity blocking is, when you're hitting a button and near an opponent but not hitting them, but they're blocking, like their character shows they're blocking. Here, Daigo really shows his dominance again in the corner, and I did get a Hail Mary forward fierce punch, and you know I'm coming at him with some more stuff, and he's like, okay, you know, this is the same like about the same health he had me in the first 2 rounds, right? You know, at this point I'm not giving a shit now because like I really still have to come at him the way I initially came at him the first 2 rounds. I cannot stop and play complacent or play at a more zone-based game because that's what he wants. Daigo's style is very zone-based. He will rush down only when he sees the blood. But the thing is, he like versus a guy like me, he thinks the blood is just gonna come to him, right? And he, you know, it forces him in some uncomfortable positions to not do certain things or to do certain things, and that's my overall strategy. Like, I want to put you in the corner the fastest or quickest possible, forcing you to push buttons. So yeah, we're here, you know, it's much of like the footsie game here, trying to find ways to get more damage, and Daigo always had like the lead in damage. I usually got the lead or won the round by some kind of like by a comeback, or I ended up outsmarting him in using up all my meter when he just tried to save all his meter for super. So that was one game strategy for him, and that's what he did in the earlier rounds. He tried to save his meter so he can just do the super, but he saw that I effectively did more damage strategically placing all my EX fireballs after my crouching medium kicks. I hit crouching medium kick a lot, but I also do get swept a lot. But if I'm inflicting damage and by the end of the round I'm going to win it with that same strategy, why change it up? Yeah, so here is more of like I play it okay, you know, up to the point where like Daigo started to switch up his block string timing, which kind of I explained earlier in the training segment. If you change your block string timing like right here, then you're gonna blow somebody up. And I think right here he learned to switch it up, and this is one of the most crucial points of the match. Boom, done right there. He hit me with that sick setup right there. Now, you know, I have to come back. Like how, you know, I'm in the same position again. I have to always come back, right? But I can play under these conditions. I missed that. That would have been sick if I landed it. But I thought of it because I scoot back enough to know that he can do fireball, FADC, dash in, standing roundhouse. It's 5 seconds left on the clock there to do something, but it didn't end my way. So it was a great match. Great match. So there's a lot of things that I have to train for before I fight Daigo this Thursday, and I'm gonna be after this e- exactly what I talked to you about. I'm gonna spend like hours upon my days to perfect a strategy to overcome what I went through 2 years ago against him, right? Or 3 years ago now. Damn, SoCal Regional 2010 was that long. So, um, and a lot of you guys might be thinking, man, yeah, I might be out of shape in this game, or I might not be as effective this time around because he's playing more and he's leveling up. Um, I think I had a better chance, and being honest, when it comes to 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 5. This is gonna be the first time at MadCats Unveiled, and shout outs to MadCats for setting up some amazing matches. But this is the first time you're gonna see me in a long set with Daigo. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be best of 7 or best of 5, 7, or 10, but it's longer than we usually play. And I get to learn a lot, and hopefully he gets to learn stuff because the data collecting from each top player that's the most satisfaction you can get from Street Fighter if you learn something. And I'm gonna make sure that the match is played to the best of my ability to where I can still give it to him, or if I win or he wins, it will still be like a good game because I've always had back and forth with him and or close matches with him. It's not like I'm a slouch and we know Daigo's ability. It's a matter of if I can execute. Execution right now, and without a doubt, is my worst enemy. So that's what I have to focus on, and hopefully there's some strategies that I can come up with that he hasn't seen before, because I am a robust player. So there's some risks involved, but if that's gonna win me the rounds and win me the game, that's what I'm gonna do. So thank you guys so much for watching this segment of the Art of Training. There's a lot more stuff that I want to discuss with training stuff down the road. Once I get everything cherried out, and once I become a better stream producer when it comes to all this stuff. So again, thank you guys for watching, and tomorrow we're gonna have episode 4. I'm gonna have some special guests coming out we're gonna be playing some AE Endless. I'm gonna have some concept matches with these top players. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.